comic book guys, otherwise known as Comic Books from Coast to Coast. I'm Joe Leonardo.
And I'm Alex Turbin.
And today we're going to be hanging out and looking at some comics from some of our friends that we have worked with to collaborate to create some super fun underground comics. And one of these is Soaked in Blood. And Soaked in Blood is created by Nathaniel JK. And he's just an awesome creator, and he's one of our good friends. And he is also the creator of very super fun, over the top gore character, Max Murder. Max Murder Killing Spree. Max Murder is a immortal murdering mass monster murder machine, sort of like a. We'll think of him as a inner city version of Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's an excellent because in the first one, very first Soaked in Blood that he came out with, I didn't get in with the group in time, and but not knowing anything, I just saw his Max Murder, and I had to do like a little drawing, and he asked if he could put it in this, and I was like, yeah, sure, that's great. But that's exactly who I was thinking was an inner city death dealer, and that's a great analogy.
It's just a really fun idea, and that's I'm gonna be perfectly honest and say like my experience was probably very similar. I saw it and was just like, wow, what a fun idea. That's something you could do a lot of cool stuff with. I definitely want to draw it. And I too, just like I busted out and
Did the pin up?
had to do a little Max Murder piece here. And
Yeah.
there is the inlet, which can be a little hard to read. So I'll just bust out with the original here and give you a little bit better look at that.
Right. Which is actually in issue number 3 of Soaked in Blood, which is what we're going to look
Yeah.
at. We're going to look at issue number 3.
All right, you can see this guy right here. Let's make sure my camera's on there. But yeah, like this dude right here in the car is like all bloody and gross or whatever. Very frank, or very Tim Vigil inspired piece of work right here. This is me like really trying to like channel a little bit of that Tim Vigil energy from Grips and from Faust and that kind of stuff, because I'm
Yeah.
such a huge fan of like the Tim Vigil stuff. Like
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
one of those dudes that always has inspired my work, and I love the way he draws blood. And doing Max Murder was just like a super cool opportunity to get to do some Tim Vigil style, blood and that kind of
Would
thing.
you consider yourself an outlaw artist?
I certainly can be at times. I mean, I don't always tend to lean in that direction. You know what I mean? Because I like, shit, I like Superman, Spider-Man, but I do love outlaw comics. And
Yeah.
I am, like a fan of ultra violence in comics when it's done properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
place for it. There is definitely a place for it when it's done properly. I'm not super into like pornographic comics or comics that overly exalt violence in monstrous ways. I don't want to see
Right.
really graphic, but when it's fun, it is in a samurai movie, or
Yeah.
like in a Mad Max film, or like it is in a Jason movie, or Friday the 13th, or a Halloween. When you can keep it highly detailed and very graphic and in those kind of fun and entertaining values, then I think it's an excellent thing. Like I love it, as
Yeah.
a matter of fact. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I don't
Yeah.
really appreciate it when it's done to be like a shocking thing, or when it's done inappropriately, or when it's done with inappropriate materials. Like there's a old the story I heard where when uh, oh God, what's his name? The guy who did Freddy Krueger and the filmmaker that did House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes. His name is not coming to me right now, but it's the guy behind the
But
Nightmare on Elm Street. I
yeah,
can't think of his
it's
name. I know who he is. It's just not coming to me off the top of my head. He also did
yeah, yeah,
Scream, and he's a great
yeah.
filmmaker. But he was filming the Hills Have Eyes, and in the script for The Hills Have Eyes, it said, like there's a scene. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie at all.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. I'm not a huge horror fan, but
Okay.
my
Well,
kids are, and my wife
it's
is, so
about a
I've seen
family that
plenty.
it's a family that breaks down in the desert and like on an RV trip, and they are menaced
Right.
by a bunch of like inbred radioactive hillbillies. Right,
Yeah.
that's the premise essentially. uh, in one of the scenes, one of the characters, he takes a parakeet that the family has as a pet inside the RV, right, and he breaks its neck. You know,
Yeah.
it's meant to be very shocking, and then back in the '70s, it was probably a scary moment. Now, in the script, I recall him saying that it said that it was a kitten that the family had, and that he took it and he put it in a blender, and he
Yeah.
goes, when I saw that in the script, he goes, I knew, he goes, we couldn't put that in the script. And then the guy that, helped him write it was like, oh, no, we got to do it. People are going to be so shocked. It's like, yeah. People would be shocked. But here's the thing. He goes, if we put it on screen, it's very likely that someone else out there will see it as a sign to say, like, this is okay. I can try to do this. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
implementing the bar low enough to where you can say, like, I showed it to you what it would look like. Now someone out there go out and do this. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And he just
Yeah.
felt like that's not a he didn't want to put that kind of a sting on the film where like anything like that could occur. So it's like of course you pull back because you have to consider those things all the time. Everything needs to be tasteful. Everything needs to be thought about. Violence and gore for the sake of them and nothing else is meaningless. You know what I mean? Things
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
violence and stuff like that only become meaningful when we attach the right components to them. And
Yeah.
violence
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
sake of violence is not attractive to me.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I haven't watched Spartacus, I think it was. I watched like a couple episodes and I was like they're just it's glorifying violence kind of just for violence sake and I was like that just has no
Yeah,
allure for me.
I wasn't a big fan of that thing either. I mean, it was trying to be like 300, the TV show or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't very good. But even beyond that, I mean, I agree with that. And I mean, I'm probably a lot of people are going to disagree with me. You might even be one of them. Is like I don't like. That's exactly why I'm not a big fan of Invincible because
Oh,
Invincible
yeah.
is just
Yep.
silly. It's silly with violence, man. It just makes no
Yeah.
sense. Like you have all these superhero characters that are supposed to be invulnerable, but they're all being pulled apart like rubber bands. You know what I mean? And
Right,
just like
right.
it's just dumb, dude. And it's all just for the sake of having that violence on the screen and somehow thinking that elevates the material in some way. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right,
Like,
right.
and he does that same stuff with The Walking Dead, and I'm not a fan of that either. You know, I mean, people love The Walking
Yeah,
Dead, but
yeah.
I never liked it.
I understand what you're saying. I disagree. I love Invincible, and but I think in that sense, I think that they're talking about emotions and being invincible emotionally because the first storyline is his being betrayed by his father and all this other stuff. So I mean, as well as him being super strong and stuff like that. But I definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't like Invincible at all, and I really wanted to like it because normally I love when people do like Justice League amalgams or like when you do
Right.
an X-Men amalgam, like if you do Fantastic Four amalgam, you know what I mean? Like whenever you do like an echo of those characters, and
Yeah.
it's real clear to me. I love that, dude. Like the Elementals, you know what I mean? Or something like that,
Yeah.
when it's clearly a version of the Fantastic Four. And I mean, I went into, Invincible wanting to love it and then just like within 3 episodes was just like, this
So
sucks.
how do you feel about the boys?
I hate it.
Yeah, you hate it. I love The Boys.
I can't stand that
I
show.
understand why you don't like it though.
I hate it, dude. I told you I don't buy into any of that. Like superheroes as human beings nonsense. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
interest me. You either
yeah,
do one or you do the other. You can't do Superman behaving like Daredevil. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you can't do that, man. It doesn't work. Like I don't like it. I don't know who likes it, man. Cool. Like I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
not for me.
yeah.
And then, dude, like that show is just it's low budget and it looks cheesy and the ideas are silly, dude. Like, the whole like college for superheroes that everybody goes to or whatever. Like, dude, man, I don't like it at all. And the comic book is even worse. You know what I mean? Like somehow the show is even better than the comic because like the comic is super lame. But
So
the
yeah,
show,
we're definitely gonna have to agree to disagree because I love everything that Garth Ennis has done. I think he turns everything to gold, and he's got a certain perspective that a lot of people don't like, and I understand that, but I definitely love it.
isn't he the guy that like had the Punisher like killing people by like
Yep,
lowering
yep.
cows onto them and stuff? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
it's pretty
I mean,
creative.
he invented a lot of stuff from Punisher, but
I want to
he also
see
did
some of that in the upcoming Punisher
Preacher.
series. You know what I mean? Like, how come we never got the Punisher killing somebody by putting his head up a cow's butt? Like,
Are you a fan of the Punisher in general?
oh, well, dude, I love the TV show. You know what I mean? I love everything if it's done cool. You know what I mean, dude? Like,
Yeah.
if it's good, it'll be good. But like, you're not gonna ever convince me that someone could do Blue Beetle and make it good. You know what I mean? There's some
if
things
they
that are
if
just
they had done if they had done a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle movie and it had been done like the Justice League International or the Justice League, you remember that book where it was funny? Um,
but
if they
dude,
had done it like that, then it would have been great.
I don't know. It just depends, like make it good, Booster and Gold, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle need each other because neither one of them is
Yeah,
strong enough to run a thing on
yeah,
their own.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Maybe Booster Gold, maybe if you like really kind of reinvented them out of the hat or something, but Blue Beetle will never be cool enough to support its own thing. Like it just isn't.
yeah,
It will
yeah.
never, unless you just erase everything about it and call it something else, and then it isn't that thing anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like
Right. Yeah,
some things are
yeah.
just dumb inherently, but whatever.
Yeah. All right, we spent all this time talking about DC and movies and stuff, and not about Soaked in Blood.
Hey, but we're talking about comics, and this is all about comics right now.
Yep,
But right
yep,
now, we're going to
definitely.
take a look at Alex's Soaked in Blood stuff here.
Yep, I had done a previous couple pages. I think I was in issue number two. I think I was in issue number two. I'll take a look here. I have it. Or maybe it was, yeah, I was in two, and I was going to continue the storyline from that. Um, because I had this character who was he's like a super militant kind of assassin guy, and he gets a guardian angel, and she is just disgusted by the fact that he's so militant, and he's like the worst racist and biggest scumbag and stuff, and she's just
I like
disgusted
them
that she
already.
has to be his guardian angel. And I was gonna continue with that, but then sometimes you just lose interest in a project or a storyline or something, and I just have never gone back to it. So I decided to. I was going to originally. I brought it up to Nate where I wanted to use his character, Maximortus.
Yeah, I think that's right, Max Mortis.
Yeah, so I wanted to use his character, and I wanted it to be like a crossover into my universe. I'm trying to find my story here.
It's way at the
Is it one
front.
of the?
Should be just after the. Yeah, keep going. It's after the. Right after this. So it's right there.
There it
See
is.
it?
There it is. Yep. So I wanted it to kind of connect to my universe. And this is Queller, who anybody that's read my comic books is kind of my marquee character. He's the one that kind of started it all for me. Well, I don't know if he started it all, but he's a character that I've had since junior high or whatever, and he's been evolving and changing and stuff. And I just wanted to kind of have him and Max Immortus join together in a fight or a team up or whatever. And also, um, in my random access, there's a Harpy character, which, if anybody has read that, would know that this will be a there's a connection to the Harpy character in random access, and or Cyrene, because Cyrene is the storyline that's from. And so it's basically was going to be Queller and Maximortus fighting this Harpy character, and kind of going back and forth with Nate's character.
No, dude, it's super cool. Like I'm bummed out that we didn't get more of this.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what whether he just didn't want to continue it, or maybe he did continue it and we haven't seen it yet, or whatever. So let us know, Nate. Let us know if you're planning on doing,
Well, I
or
know
maybe I'll
Nate
just
bummed.
continue doing some pages.
And he gets bombarded with
Yeah. Oh
material.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When all this stuff happens, so it's pretty easy to understand why
Oh,
occasionally,
100%.
yeah, something gets sacrificed here or there, or maybe like one person
Yep.
doesn't make it into one story or something like that. And
Oh yeah.
Nate,
Yeah.
we
I don't
want you to
blame
know,
him.
yeah, we totally understand, dude. This is not any kind of thing calling Nate out on anything like
Yeah.
that.
No.
We're
No.
fans, and
100% understand.
we all work together. And we're going to look at Nate's work here real shortly. But this is a piece that I did here in Nate's. Let me just make sure I'm in focus here.
Which one is that?
This is Nathaniel JK's. This is called Killing Spree.
Oh, that's the
And
Max
this
Murder
was
Killing
just
Spree.
like a reaccounting of different scenarios where Max Murderer went nuts and killed a bunch of people or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, these are my pages right here. But he had to sacrifice a page because, like, I didn't really quite understand is kind of what happened is everybody had only committed 4 pages and he had to have the book sort of designed like that, and I
Yep.
turned
Yep.
in 5 pages. So one of my pages got sacrificed for the sake of making everything fit, making everybody else fit, and not giving me preferential treatment while everybody else only gets 4 pages. You know what I mean? Which
Right.
I
Right. Right.
totally understand. But since I
Yep.
have a chance to, show them off here real quick, so we'll look at the actual pages here.
Is
And
that is that the actual page, or is that
yeah, this is
okay,
the
cool.
actual page, the 11 by 17 right here or whatever.
Yeah.
And look
Yep.
at that cityscape right there, dude. Like, you think I didn't spend some freaking time on that thing or whatever? Like,
Yeah, that's a lot of hatching. That's
or
nice.
like this little kitty cat in the corner over here.
Is that that's the first page of your story there?
Yeah, so it opens up with
Yep.
like it would Capital City, which is the home of Max Murder, sort of the universe of
Yep.
19XTX, which is Nathan's universe. And we have some sort of like monster is like sneaking into the kids' rooms and stealing them away, and it's like coming from deep underneath the city. And then we got Max coming into the scene here, and he's just like he hears about something killing something else in his city, and he's just like, oh, I got to explore this. So he's down in the sewers looking around because
That's
he's thinking,
awesome sewers. That's
yeah,
awesome sewers.
I appreciate that, dude. Like, I really tried to. I was looking at some like Greg Capullo,
Yeah.
freaking Court of Owls stuff, like Batman walking around the sewers stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kind of
Yeah.
trying to like channel that a little bit, with the lit flare thing right here or whatever,
Yeah.
like, and then lighting the tunnel, and then having the other half all being you got his shadow cast back there and that nice little bit.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he's like, if anything down here is alive, he's like, you know what I'm gonna do to it. You know what I mean? He's like, this is my whole gig. Like, you can't have people out here like killing shit that it isn't me. So he's down here. And then at the time, I kind of wanted to add a little bit to the Max Murder lore. So I was kind of creating like one of his rogues gallery villains here. And this guy's super inspired by Clayface. But if you look
Yeah.
on his left there, you'll see another head. You see it?
Hey, Bob Bummer's in the chat. What's up,
Oh,
Bob?
thanks, Bob Burmer. I appreciate that, bro. I really do appreciate that so much. I worked hard on those bricks, son. I did. But there's actually two of them there. This guy's name is Skin Tag. His Skin Tag, the living toxic waste dump.
That's cool.
So this is two brothers that got like toxic Avengered into a big toxic waste dump and came out as this monster or whatever. And
Yeah.
every once in a while, him and Max Murder, they go head to head, and they don't like each other one bit. So Max is down in the sewer, and he's just cruising around, and he's looking, and all of a sudden he's just like, "You f now, human scum." And Max is like, "Oh man, I recognize that voice the second I hear it." You see his eyeballs just like boom, he's just like popping, like, "Oh man, I know exactly who
Yeah.
this is." And then and he's like, "Oh, and he's fast too." And you see this little shot down here where it's like the eyes, but if you look over here, you'll see the tentacle is like coming into the eye or whatever. So the tentacle is coming from the main form, but I was trying to show it like it's coming at him. You know what I mean? And he's seeing it from the corner of his eye, and he's
Right,
like,
right.
he's fast too. And he's like, but not as fast as I am. And we just like boom, we see Max just like pooh, like
Yeah.
cut off a couple of nice limbs, and then we see the dude's got a little kid in his hands as he's like escaping into the sewer. He's got this petrified little kid,
Oh,
like
yeah.
in one
Yeah,
hand,
yeah.
just like, oh my god, save me or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Bob asked, do you use whiteout on the black brick?
No, that's all done by hand. As a matter of fact, I could bust the pencils out and show you the pencils, and it looks exactly the same. Like I do it all, like I just darken it all. I think
Yeah.
maybe when I did the pencils, I didn't do black the bricks in because I knew it might be real tricky, like right here where all the blood was happening, trying to get the blood and the black to come together. Like, because the
Yeah.
blood
Yeah.
in the bricks was real hard to get it to like to look, like separate or whatever, because the blood is
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah. I
you know
have
what I
that
mean?
problem too. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so there's so much detail or whatever happening.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a dark
So
color or a black against another black.
yeah,
And
against another black against all these lines or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's why doing a black costume is so hard.
yeah, yeah. No, no, for sure. I had something like that recently. Like I was doing that thing for Funk or whatever that had the
Yep.
vampire hunter guy on it, and I had
Yep.
designed them to all be in blue, and I was thinking about them in color. I was like, I have them all dressed in blue, but then he lives in a world where there is no sun, so the backgrounds are always blue, most of the time. So I was like, it's kind of like a design mistake, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
designing them all blue, and the backgrounds are supposed to be all blue as well. It doesn't really work all that well when you're coloring. But yeah, this was a really cool, really fun double pager right here, and just like Max, just fully going for it, and just looking super, cool. Like I said, this stuff is like super influenced by Tim Vigil, like big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, like the blood, and just trying to. This is also like David Finch too. I have to say, like a lot of my stuff is pretty influenced by like David Finch and Michael Turner and those guys. And this was the next page, and it's like you see it, and he's like, I told you to stay out of Capital City, skin tag. And then we have the shot up here, like the top of him, like giving him this sort of like karate chop, with his kick, and he
Yeah.
just like smashes him upside his head. And then
I
he's
love
like,
those
that good?
chains.
What's that?
I love those chains.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I went and did like some Spawn chains and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at some Art Adams stuff and had chains hanging in it. It was like, oh yeah, you got to add the chains. And then we got him just like, he's gashing the bad guy, and he's just like, he freaking gives him a big old hack to the side of the neck. And of course, that's where his brother is at. His brother's like growing off the side of his neck there. So he's trying to escape, and the first thing he does is he throws the child, and he's just like, and the child just splats on the wall over here.
Oh, the kid dies? No.
Yeah, it's like the first thing the old monster does is get rid of the child. It's like freaking. And then let's see. And then this was the last page right here, and then it's like, and he's like, and it really pisses me off too. He's like, so I end it quickly, and then we have this shot of him like, it's just like slice, and a bunch of blood is flying all over the place, and then we see like skin tag, and he's down there, and he's like, ooh, he's like hurt, and he's running away. So as soon as skin tag's hurt bad enough, he retreats into the deep sewers, and he's like, screw you, Max Murder, glub glub, skin tag kill you next time. And Max
Right,
is like,
right.
oh, but there's one more thing I got to do down here, and he's like, it's an act of mercy, really. He's like, so I don't want to take too long. We see the little kid's hand. He's like, you think he's like, no, Max, don't. And Max is like, I don't want this poor child to suffer much, as he like brings his side up. And then he comes up thinking he's going to put this poor child out of his misery. And he's like, what the heck? He's dead already. And then he's like, mother effer. He's like, I seriously hate it when someone else does my work for me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was just like,
You you kind of think that Max is going to rescue the kid, and he's just wants to kill him.
well, he's not just once. I think Max is thinking like he's been smashed against the wall, or he's in the sewer, what's it going to do like for the rest of his life dealing with the trauma of being stolen by this monster and nearly eaten? Maybe, it might just be best to, let this kid have a new start somewhere else, and
I
turns
think
out,
we should ask Nate if is Max Murder evil enough to have wanted to kill the kid?
well,
Like is he pure evilness?
I think, like Max Murder, he does
Like
kill
him,
kids.
yeah,
Like,
but like
like,
him, it seems like he's in that scene, he's feeling compassion for the kid. And would Max Murder feel compassion? I think that's one of the
that's a good
questions.
question. Like probably not. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I think that's my own moralities creeping in on the character,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
But I wanted to keep it dark too, though. You know what I mean? Like I can't help that I'm a softie and don't want to portray those kind of things. But
yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time, I want to be as true to the character as I can be. And like I know Nate has talked about him killing kids before, and I'm like, I don't have a problem with that. I could put that kind of thing into the story as long as you handle it correctly. And I just want
Right,
it to
right.
come across somewhat comedic or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that
yeah. It's
you know.
having kids in violent situations or any kind of situation. I have in my new book, the Cyclops thing. I have him as a baby being cast aside, and then these wolves kind of find him, and like you kind of feel like it's going to be one of those things where the wolves raise him and stuff, but they want to eat him. So
Oh, dude, don't ruin
I'm
it for me. I'm watching
yeah,
that with you.
no,
Like,
no,
dude, like
I'm not.
I
That's as
love
far as
those
I'm going.
pages, man. Like you're those those are really you're really showing your growth recently. You know what I mean? Like, because those pages look really great.
Thanks, thanks, thank you.
I love the whole giving birth thing. You know what I mean? Like those were all the
Yeah,
faces were really great. Cabin was really great. They looked really great in black and white and in color.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
really the watercolor thing. I'm really trying to improve on because I want to make that like a regular thing in random access. The digital thing is I can do that, but I just don't. It's missing something. It's missing something that I don't think I can replicate.
I'm starting to pick up the digital thing again. I've done it a handful of times, but I don't really like it. But I'm trying to figure it out one more time
Yeah,
again, just to
yeah.
tackling it again. Let's do Nathan's story real quick here before we
Okay,
look at anybody else.
all
Because
right.
Nathan's story is right next to yours. Like it begins, I believe, on the very next page.
No,
And this is a fun story.
that's
Nathan's a
Mike.
great cartoonist.
Yeah.
You got it,
Bones
Bones Man.
is it Bones Man? Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is
chapter
that's
one.
the cover. The cover
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Bones Man.
And this is just a fun little thing. And everybody like is a stand-in for the characters in their own stories.
Yeah.
So this guy's going through a lot of anxiety and a lot of like sleep problems and stuff like that. So Nathan, I hope you're not suffering on sleep disorder or anything of that stuff.
Yeah. Sleep deprivation.
Yeah,
You're
that
not gonna
sucks,
go
dude.
fight club on us.
Yeah, and if it is, man, I hope you're figuring out ways to, get over it because like that's nothing no one should have to deal with. And I hope
Yeah.
you're doing well, bro. We haven't heard from you too much lately. I know you've been taking it slow lately and taking a little break from social media, and everybody should be doing that kind of thing from time to time. And we're just shouting out and let you know we love you, man, and we love your work, and
Yep.
everybody
Yep. We
appreciates
want more
all the
though.
hard work that goes into JK Papers and soaked in blood. You know, that's one of those things that everybody wants to get in on when they do it. And not to get too far, but I mean, like, here's the recent soaked in blood, and I know it's probably got a big old shine on it, but man, look at the gorgeous
No, you
work
can
on
see
that.
it.
Mm, he's doing great stuff, you guys, and you want to get a hold of his comics, trust me.
Yeah, definitely.
But this guy's waking up and he's got like he's sleepwalking and he's got like sticking knives to his eyes while he's asleep and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's going through some pretty tough times right here. Like our
I'm
character
trying to
here.
think of it if this is similar to Horns. Do you ever see that movie, Horns?
I haven't seen it, but I do know what it is. The
Yeah,
the with
I
Harry
don't think the
Potter or
story.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't think the story is the same.
I don't think it is either. I thought those were like he's some sort of mythical thing, or he gets some sort of mythical power from his horns or something like that. No, this
No,
guy's
no, it's like some sort of like he does evil stuff and his horn grows longer or
is
something
that
like
what
that.
it is? I know some
Yeah,
sort of
something
like
like that.
yeah, some sort
Yeah,
of thing attached to it. But this guy's just trying to deal with all the stuff going on with him, and for some reason he smashes his head right here,
yeah,
Actually, it's like he's going to work or something like that, and yeah, some street activity, is happening. Guys on bikes and people in the streets and bums on. He actually trips and falls and smashes his head.
yeah.
And he's going to maybe get a bottle of booze because he's not having a great day. I guess we've all been there before. So bleeding, the guy sells some booze. It's probably not a good idea. The guy's just like, hey, what's the occasion? Doesn't even ask him, like, dude, you're bleeding from your head like profusely. Maybe I shouldn't sell you blood or booze. It's a blood thinner, I mean, like,
Yeah.
but this guy's got no compulsion about selling this guy some booze. So off he goes. And he's going to have a nice cup of tea, he thinks, when he gets home. He buys some tea too, looks like. And puts a Band-Aid on his head over here. Make sure I'm in
Well,
focus.
before that, I want to look at his hand here. That hand is amazing.
Where am I looking at? This one right here?
Lower
Oh,
left.
the keys? Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah. That's a fantastic hand.
yeah, dude. I want to bet you anything that's probably Jamie's key fob in real life with the like Michelangelo head on it or whatever that is. Or
Yeah.
because normally people draw things like that from something. You know what I mean? Like
You mean
oh,
Nate's?
yeah, Nathaniel.
Yeah,
Yeah, I said
yeah,
Nathaniel. Yeah, Nate.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm betting that's like probably a real key fob that he drew. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just
yeah. Could
it's so
be,
good. Like
could be.
it's got like there's his house key. There's probably the car key or something, and you know what I mean. You got three little ring things on there, one for the car, one for each key, and one for the little fob.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's an eye to detail of something that people are just going to gloss right over. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but still, that's the kind of stuff that adds all your elements to your story. But very nice work. So he plugs up the wound on his head and he's cranking some tunes. What do we got? Some Alice Coltrane, Universal Consciousness. Maybe that's some jazz or something like that. Not much of a jazz guy myself,
No,
but
no,
hey,
me either.
to
But
each their own.
yep.
And he just scratches it. He's just like, no. He scratches it off there and throws them some accept balls to the wall. That's so cool. I remember that album. Do you know Balls to the Wall, Alex?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You do? That's awesome. You get your balls to the wall, man. Balls to the wall. Dude, you have to go back so far to even know about it. Except I'm super like I didn't wasn't under the impression that Nathan was that old. You know what I mean? Like I would have thought like that would have been a little bit before his time.
Yeah, but he's into that cool stuff. Unfortunately, I have to go.
Oh, okay.
So,
No worries.
so
Well,
yeah. So maybe we could pick this up at another time. That would be
yeah,
awesome.
we'll just have to cut it short this time, and we'll come back
Yep.
and we'll finish up Nathan's video on Sunday before we move on to something else. Because we're right here at the that literally is that's kind of the perfect place to end it because we are on the end of the first chapter, and the next
Yep.
page is actually chapter 2 of Bones Man, and we'll just pick it up from there. Nathan, we love you, bro. We just wanted to
Yep.
touch base and look at some cool comics and share some stuff that we all did together. I'm Joe Leonardo. I'm the creator of Six Lords of Sound, amazing heavy metal superheroes in space. And if you're looking to get your hands on a copy of Six Lords of Sound, be sure to direct message me at Instagram on my Instagram, which is Awfully World on Instagram. That's all one word, AWFULLYWORLD. Go ahead, Alex.
I'm Alex Turbin, and you can pick my stuff up at alexanderturbin.com. It's random access, but I really got to go. I really got to go. So
Okay.
we'll pick
Sound like
this
a
up
good deal,
another time.
Alex.
Thanks for watching, and keep on creating.
You guys have a great day.